Boy, what a week it's been. I've got a lot of comments tonight, but something that is certainly taking all the attention on every newspaper and television broadcast. And I want to just try to give you a very brief, simple explanation. As you know, Nancy Pelosi has announced earlier this week that there's going to be an impeachment investigation of President Trump. I thought that's what we've had ever since he got sworn in. Are you kidding me? First it was Russia, then it was the Mueller thing and obstruction, and then now it's the Ukraine. I'm wondering, when this fizzles out, where do we go? I guess our next investigation will be, did Donald Trump ever watch a show that was based in Hawaii? Maybe that will be the next big collusion story, who knows? But let me explain something to everyone, and this is what I want to do very, very quickly. This is not a serious attempt to impeach the president. This is, frankly, window dressing so the Democrats can say they're trying to impeach the president. Now, don't get me wrong. They're going to do everything they can to do it. But you got to have a reason. You can't just impeach a president because you don't like how the election turned out. And that's basically what we're dealing with. And the sad thing is, if this thing were to play out and there somehow could get 218 votes in the House of Representatives for an impeachment, you realize that doesn't mean he's thrown out of office. It then goes to the Senate. And the likelihood that the Senate, with a supermajority required, would dismiss this president is about 100,000 to 1. So if you wonder, why are they doing it? It's just playing raw politics is why they're doing it. In the meantime, let me tell you what isn't getting done. While they're bothering with impeachment, we're not fixing our border. We're not stopping the killing of unborn children. We're not building infrastructure of roads and airports and bridges that we all desperately need, regardless of our politics. We're not dealing with the health care issue. We're not doing anything that helps us be a stronger country. We're not building our economy better. So I just wonder, would you, as the American people, really think you'd like to have more of the folks who are ignoring some of the real issues we'd like to have resolved and instead want to spend all their time just chasing down this president that they still haven't gotten over having won the election? That's what this is about, and don't ever kid yourself otherwise. We'll talk about it in coming weeks. But hey, a week ago, hundreds of thousands of students skipped school to demonstrate for urgent action on climate change. Some said, we either act right now or we're all going to be toasted into oblivion in less than 11 years. Some even said the world will end in just 8 months. Now, folks, if that's the case, I think we ought to stop making house and car payments, take big vacations on credit cards, and live like there's no tomorrow, because by those standards, there's not a tomorrow. Now, for the record, I'm actually a conservationist, not an environmentalist, though. And there's a difference. And here's what it is. I believe God created the heavens and the earth. I believe the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. But I don't, nor will I ever actually own the stuff here. I'm a mere steward or a caretaker of what God created, and He will always own it. So since it's His and I'm just getting to use it, I want to take good care of the planet since it does belong to Him and not to me. But I want to be blunt. I worship the Creator, and I love and appreciate the creation. I don't worship the creation and think that the earth is my God. You see, I believe we ought to live by what I was taught in the Boy Scouts so many years ago. Leave our campsite in as good or better shape than we found it. But from the beginning, God told us that He made all this stuff for us. All the plants, the birds, the wildlife, the fish, all of it was created for us. According to Genesis 1, it was. And God said that we would rule over the fish and the birds, the livestock, the wild animals, and the creatures on the ground. So when I go duck hunting or fishing or hunt deer or turkey and put the meat on my table, I'm just doing what God told me to do, okay? And to quote God, it is good. Now, when young people, and even some old codgers who are trying to scare young people, When they say the world is coming to an abrupt halt if we don't let the government start running everything that moves, sorry, but I ain't buying it. I think we could all probably live better, but the Hollywood celebrities who may have pretended to be scientists in movies aren't real scientists in real life. And I wonder, if they care so much about the planet, how come they fly in private jets to Europe and attend a conference asking the rest of us not to fly, not to drive, and don't eat steaks or fire up the grill? Liberal politicians do the same thing. Al Gore and Barack Obama bought beach houses, which I got no problem with. I think it's fine. But I mean, if they think those homes are going to float off into the ocean any day now, either they're pretty stupid or they must think we are. Hey, I want to tell you something. None of this is new. 50 years ago, when I was in high school, we were told that we only had 10 years or less. But it wasn't global warming that was going to burn us up. It was global freezing. That's right. And unless we let government take over pretty much everything, we were all going to be popsicles before the 70s were over. Every single thing the expert told us turned out to be wrong. Now, we are doing much better at not polluting. We're making cars and planes that get better mileage, burning those fossil fuels more efficiently. You know, those fossil fuels that God left in the ground so we could fly to Hawaii rather than swim there. As I've said before, I'd rather live like the Jetsons than the Flintstones. And if young people want to give up their cars, smartphones, airplanes, and powered scooters and walk or ride a bike everywhere, including to school, then fine. If they're more worried about a plastic straw than an unborn child, I'll let them try to explain that. But I'm going to be blunt. I'm older than they are. I've lived through some stuff that maybe they haven't. I've heard all of the end of the world stuff throughout my whole life. And I will join them in taking better care of the planet. I got to be real honest with you. I'm not going to worship the creation. I'll just stick to worshiping the Creator. And since He started the planet, I want to assure you this, that if He ever should decide to close it all down, the last thing I'm going to worry about is cow flatulence, a V8 engine, or a plastic bag at the grocery store. Now, if you're seeing this, I know you've enjoyed that video. I mean, how could you not, after all? So, you know what you should do? Leave a like, click on the subscribe button below, and hit the notification bell next to it so you'll always know when I have another video up for you to enjoy.